let's try putting one together with each one of these different little pieces here. So I'm going to start out. So this is the function I am going to graph right here. Y equals negative 1/2 absolute value of x plus 2 minus 3. I'm going to start out y equals absolute value of x. Parent function. Always start with the parent function. Here's my parent. I am going to work from left to right. Work from left to right. It's easier on your brain. So the first transformation I am going to do is y equals negative absolute value of x. Well, I know that the negative, if there is a negative sign, if there's no negative sign, I don't do anything. If there's a negative sign, every single one of my y values is going to be changed to its negative. So for my parent function, where I had a positive 1, I'm going to have a negative 1. Where I had a positive 4, I'm going to have a negative 4. Where I had a positive 8, I'm going to have a negative 8. So all of those numbers have been negativized. How's that for a word for you? Negativized. So that's transformation number 1. Transformation number 2. Y equals negative 1/2 absolute value of x. And if I want to, if it makes it easier to kind of visualize, I can change this into y equals 1/2 times negative absolute value of x. Because I've already got negative absolute value of x graphed. I graphed that one in red. So I'm just going to take all of the values for the negative absolute value of x, and I'm going to cut them in half. So, like here, my y value was negative 4. I'm cutting it in half. I'm going to make it negative 2. And over here, my y value again was negative 4. I'm going to make it negative 2. Way out here, my y value was negative 8. I'm going to make it negative 4. And I think we're here, negative 10. I'm going to make that negative 5. So I've taken all of the values off of my red graph, which is the negative absolute value of x, and I've put them into the function machine, and I've cut them in half. So now I'm going to look like this. Because my a right here of 1/2 is less than 1, it compresses the graph. So now I've got my negative, and I have my a. I'm going to add in my h and k. Well, I've learned that the k is going to be a vertical shift. And my k here is a negative 3. And I know that my h is a horizontal shift. And I grok now that is going to move it 2 to the left. Even though it says plus 2, it's really, if it's x minus h plus k, this is the same thing as x minus negative 2, which is a positive 2, which is what I have up here in my function. So I'm going to move it down 3 and left 2. I'm dealing with this function. This is the most recent transformation that I have done. So every point on that function, I'm going to move left 2 and down 3. So I like to start with my vertex, particularly when I'm working with absolute value. I'm going to go, here's my vertex. I'm going to go left 2, down 3. And kind of while I'm doing this, sometimes it's easier for me to label points while I'm doing it. So that would be the point -2, comma, -3. Let's take this point over here, which was, at the time, was 4, -2. I'm going to go to the left 2, 1, 2, and down 3, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be this point right here, which is the point 2, comma, -5. I think I'll try this point here. That point was, well, it is in the black one, -3, -2. I'm going to go to the left 2, and I'm going to go down 3. I'm going to go here. This point is now -5, comma, -5. My graph transformed, I can connect them all, and it looks like that. I've taken my black graph. I know it's a little bit awkward. I didn't make my lines all that well. But I've taken my black graph, and I've moved the entire thing to the left 2 and down 3. And I hope you can see all I've done is each piece. Well, what the other videos explained was how each piece works individually. And when you put them together, it should be pretty easy to do. I'm going to make a suggestion that you watch the next video I'm going to put up, which does it using the square function, not the absolute value function. And it'll kind of take you through the same process, the same steps, but with the square function instead of the absolute value function. And you'll be able to see a little bit why I'm discouraging you to use the slope for the absolute value functions. The slope works fine for the absolute value functions, but a lot of the functions that you're going to be transforming are not going to be absolute value functions, and you won't be able to use slope. So again, I hope these series of little videos here on the different transformations has helped you understand that a little bit better.